Recently, I'd felt like people were following me. I always felt a presence around me whenever I left the house, but when I turned to search for and catch a culprit, there was always no one. I always close my room curtains nowadays because whenever I open them, I can feel eyes watching me. I never saw anyone, but I could always feel them. I should have told my parents, and perhaps I should have been scared to go out, but I believed that nothing bad could ever happen to anyone in our small, safe town. I was wrong. Hello, I'm Alondra. I had what you'd probably call a perfect life. A good family, good house, and happy life. At least, that's what I thought, until I experienced an accident that turned my whole life upside down. An accident that made me discover that my parents weren't actually who I thought they were. This story is about how I discovered that my so-called perfect life was a total fake. Like, subscribe, and keep watching to know the crazy things that happen next.
It's a perfect 20 party!
Puda screamed and danced while we set up decorations for my birthday party. Puda and I had known each other since childhood. We practically grew up together as neighbors, and we never stopped being friends no matter what happened.
But Alondra, don't you think that the guest list is a little bit too long? Maybe you should stop promoting already. Do you want to host a party or a festival? Your friends from high school and college are coming. Your parents have invited people from their company. I'm worried. Can we really take care of this crowd?
Puda. You worry too much. This is my perfect 20 party. It has to be huge. We only turned 20 once, and besides, my parents are taking care of everything.
Fine then. It's 6 p.m. already. Can we go home? I'm really tired, and the event hall staff have all gone home too.
If you're tired, you should go home, Puda Kali. I have to make sure that my decorations are perfect. My party is tomorrow, and I can't afford to let anything go wrong. I'll be leaving here from 8 to 9 p.m. Go.
Are you sure you'll be safe alone?
Nothing bad ever happens in our town. Don't be scared. Go. I pushed Puda out of the hall. She'd done more work than any of my other friends, almost as much work as I had. So it was only fair for me to let her rest if she said that she was tired. I continued setting up the event hall until I was sure that it was perfect for my perfect 20. I looked at my watch and it was 9 p.m. My time estimation was right. I picked up my school bag and left the hall. Immediately, I stepped out. That weird feeling came back. Someone was watching me. Everywhere was quiet and I couldn't see a single soul in that part of town. Fear quietly crept up on me. I took a deep breath and started walking home really fast. Of all days, I chose today to walk. I left my car at home and now I was being stalked. I could feel someone following me. The person was so close that Wait a minute. Why did the presence suddenly become so close? Could someone be right behind me? I turned around swiftly and saw a huge black van following me from behind. OMG, they weren't even bothering to hide anymore. What could this mean? I was scared out of my mind, so I started running. Once I started this, the black van stopped and entered another street. Despite this, I kept running. I hope I've lost or scared them off. My house wasn't far from where I was anymore, so I kept running. If only I could get home in time. I'll be safe if only I could. The van suddenly materialized in front of me. They'd taken a shortcut and blocked me off. No! 2 masked men exited the car and approached me. I tried to run, but I was already cornered and all I could do was struggle. I struggled so much while they dragged me into the car that I somehow knocked myself out. I woke up a few minutes later and found myself in an abandoned warehouse. The 2 masked men had taken off their masks, and there was a 3rd man sitting with them, all unmasked and patiently waiting for me to wake up. Who are you guys? I screamed once I woke up. My parents are friendly with the cops. I'll get you all arrested. I'll mess you all up.
The cops are useless people. They can't hurt us. Don't scare her, you idiot! Don't you think the kidnap is enough of a scare? How is it scary to tell her the cops are useless? Isn't that the truth? Don't use the cops to threaten us. Try using your parents. Shut up!
My parents? What do you mean?
Your parents really haven't told you anything, huh? They're really confusing people. But why haven't your parents told you everything about your family yet? I mean, you're planning your 20th. You're old enough. Could it be you're a bad child?
I am not a bad child, I'm a perfect child. My parents are perfect and my family is perfect. I screamed, sitting up.
Gee, sorry, it was just a question. Don't bite my head off.
The third kidnapper said, carrying his hands up. Was I just imagining things, or did these kidnappers seem kind of harmless? Why am I here? My parents will start getting worried soon.
Your parents haven't been submitting their monthly reports, so the organization was getting worried. We've tried contacting them multiple times, but we've never been able to reach them, and they haven't bothered to reach out to us either. We wanted to find out if they were safe and if their mission was still on track. But it seems like taking you for questioning was a bad idea. You're useless.
Organization? Mission? Are you kidding me right now? Is this a pre-birthday prank by my friends? My parents work in 9-to-5 office jobs, and if they're defaulting on something, I'm sure they discuss it with their boss in the company building. Why do you have to kidnap me to find out if they're okay?
9-to-5 jobs? That's just a side hustle. Your parents are actually spies. Let us fill you in, since your parents are defaulting in that aspect. Listen carefully.
The unmasked kidnappers, now masked, dropped me off in front of my house and waved.
Be a good little girl now. Don't be too stubborn, okay?
First of all, I am not a little girl. I'm turning 20 tomorrow. I'm an adult already. I screamed as the van drove off. Was it weird that I still sensed that I was being followed? Despite the fact that I just had an exposing discussion with the people who'd been following me for months. I ignored my gut feeling once again and proceeded to walk into my home. These kidnappers just told me that everything I'd ever known was a lie. My parents, who worked 9-to-5 jobs but always made time for me, who never missed any of my PTA meetings or competitions growing up. My perfect parents, who never once argued or yelled at me or one another, weren't who I thought they were. They weren't even really married, and I wasn't their daughter. According to the kidnappers, my parents were spies sent by the organization they worked for to watch and report the activities of one of the families living in the suburbs who were suspected of portraying supernatural abilities. The Kali family. My friend Buddha Kali's family. My parents never really got married. They'd adopted me and acted as a perfect family to conceal their real identities. Everything was fake. Of course, I didn't believe the outrageous claims at first, but the pictures, videos, documents, and the superpowers that the kidnappers had, which they'd shown me, convinced me otherwise. My mom ran and hugged me once I came home.
We were so worried. What happened?
I stared at them, and as my dad looked into my eyes, I could feel that he'd discovered that I'd found out everything, almost like he could read my mind. Did he have supernatural abilities too? How had I not noticed this before?
Let's sit down and talk about this.
I unwillingly obeyed.
Tell us how you found out.
My dad commanded, and I unwillingly obeyed again. Was he controlling me? I told them everything about the kidnapping incident and my dad's side.
Everything those men told you is the truth, or at least their version of the truth. Yes, we were tasked with watching the Kali family for suspicious or supernatural activity surrounding them, but that is not the whole story.
What's the whole story then?
You're really our daughter. I got pregnant for your father and that wasn't permitted in our organization, so I got a friend that was quite powerful in the organization to pull some strings and set up a fake operation. An operation that would make me and your father live together without suspicion from the organization. We're also really married, sweetheart. The organization just doesn't know this.
If you wanted to be free from the organization, why did you stop sending your monthly reports then?
I thought it was your mother doing it.
And I thought your father was doing it.
I heard a shuffle close to the window and I ran to see what made the noise, but I saw nothing once I got there. I couldn't shake the nagging feeling once again, though. Someone had been watching us. I burst into tears and my parents comforted me. My parents may have lied to me, but they were still my perfect, lovely parents. I forgave them and went to bed, waking up in bright spirits for my perfect 20th birthday party. I celebrated my birthday like it was the party of the century. Everything felt like a dream. The gifts I got outnumbered the guests, so you can imagine how excited I was. That was until my dad suddenly approached me and handed me his phone.
Take this and hide under the staircase. Let me get your mom. We're leaving.
I looked at the phone and on it, there was a text. Get out of there with your family right now. The Kalis know about you and I think they have hatched a plan to get rid of you. Wait a minute, I thought the collies weren't really supernaturals. My dad pushed me towards the staircase and disappeared. I hid under the staircase like my dad had instructed and waited quietly for my parents. They finally arrived and I was about to run out to meet them when they suddenly stopped moving. My dad signaled me to stay put, then I noticed that they were looking at something at the foot of the staircase. I could see everything from my hideout, and they were looking at the collies, Puda and her parents.
What do you want from us?
I think the question should be, what do you want from us? So you've been spying on us all these years. Did you find anything?
How did you find out? You didn't find anything for 20 years? Wow, we must be really good at our jobs then. Or you must be really bad at yours. The sickness we created just seems very natural.
Well, we weren't really looking.
You're responsible for all the sick people that have been dying? Where's Alondra? It's thanks to her that I found out who you guys are. I followed her home after she got kidnapped and released, and heard your confession to her. Heck, to think that I was worried about her. Let's end this quickly and quietly.
The collie family started mumbling some incantations together, but then my mom's hand began to glow. It seemed like she was forming some kind of force field, but everything stopped all of a sudden and both my parents began turning to stone. What was going on? I screamed out of fear and something like a wave came right out of my chest, knocking back the collies and making them unconscious. My parents stopped turning to stone and returned to their normal form. Once my dad was freed, he quickly rushed and placed the enchanted necklace on the necks of the collie family. The necklace was to stop them from harnessing their magical powers. He then tied them up and called for backup. They took the collies through to the back of the building where no one could see them. As I lay in my mother's arm, drifting off to what I believe was unconsciousness, she whispered in my ears.
We're supernaturals too. We're just tasked with bringing in the bad guys. Don't worry, everything will be fine from now on. We're quitting.